Hello, everyone, and welcome to my home. Literally, welcome to my home. This is a little room tour of one of my favorite places. Why is it one of my favorite places? Well, because it houses everything that I love. So we are at the doorway, and if we go inside, one of the first things you are met with is this right here. Now, this little table, you see that? Back up. Sorry guys, I've never done this before, so hopefully you're not getting dizzy. This little table we got at a flea market in Metz, France. We would go there quite often with a couple other people from the base. This is when we were living in Bitburg, Germany. And it just was a really fun place to scour bargains and just get things that you love. And I really thought I would paint this. At the very least, I thought I would refinish it, but this is exactly the way it came. I have not touched it other than to clean it up. It has a drawer right here, and then that middle section opens up. And down here on the floor is another little gem. It is a reproduction of an old school or old play toy. And on the top, we've got some family photos and then this spray can. And for those of you that are very young, I'm not familiar with spray. I grew up with Crisco, but this was my mother-in-law's and she was born in 1921. My guess is it held lard way before vegetable oil. And inside is the treasure. The tin itself is a treasure, but inside houses the marbles she played with when she was a child. So very special piece, and that's why it's here. Now you may want to know about that stone, that one right there. I can't tell you, I don't remember. But I know if it's in here, it's special. My guess is one of the grandkids at some place we were at, possibly a beach. Then I've got a couple crosses that I collected. One is wood, one is iron. Then over here, we have one of my cross stitches. This cross stitch used to be in 3 pieces. It was one that I gifted my mother-in-law, and when she passed away, I took it back and took it out of the frames and had it matted and put into 3 pieces into the one. Now, you would think typically you'd want that in your kitchen because it is spices, but yeah, not my kitchen. There's no wall space, so it is in here. Here is another one of my cross stitches, one of my all-time favorites. Once again, it is a rabbit. Very Americana, so I'm pretty sure I did this when we were living in Georgia. And the same with this one here. Pretty sure he is also while we were in the South. It could have been Virginia. I'm not sure. Like I had mentioned before, I put my initials on them. I wish I had dated them, but I did not. Then if we move over here to this corner, there is another cross stitch. This looks just like a cat that we used to have. And I also had gifted this to my mother-in-law. And when she passed away, I took it back. My stepmother-in-law had this old kerosene light from when she was a child. And so I have it in here. And below that, then I have a high chair with 2 rag dolls in it. Absolutely love handmade dolls. Got the dolls sometime when we were living in the South. And under that is a pull toy, a wooden pull toy with 3 cats. And as you pull it along, their little heads bob up and down. And that was from Germany, from a toy store in Germany. And if we go right here, you see that little farmhouse with all those animals? Many years ago, probably 16, 17 years ago, my daughter-in-law and my son gifted that for me. It was under the Christmas tree. It's solid iron, and so it is really, really heavy. All the animals and the barn itself, they're all iron. Then I had purchased this little school desk at an antique store when we were living in Texas. And of course, I've got 2 rag dolls on that. Those rag dolls were handmade by somebody when we lived in Germany, and we had a big craft sale, and I was lucky enough to be able to get those. They are life size, and the clothes that they have on are actual children's clothes. So they're just so cute. I mean, look at that. They're so cute. And then what she's holding here, that rabbit is not old, but it is holding just a little piece of cloth with the first embroidery that my daughter ever did. So that is really special. Behind is a cow, a big wooden cow. I got that in Germany. The little basket of apples also is from Germany. And then this big Hoosier cabinet here, I got it at an auction when we lived in Maryland. And on the door, the store here is keys and locks that my father was collecting. So I hung those up there, and inside on the far left or the far right, you can see another one. Then I've got this little cup right here is my grandfather's baby cup. The refrigerator dishes, the blue, red, and yellow. If you are a product of the 50s, you know refrigerator dishes, very collectible. Another set of refrigerator dishes here, and you'll see one is missing, and also a lid. That's what happens when you let your husband in the room. That's exactly what happens. Then old ball jars in the blue that are just so cool. Here, believe it or not, these spices are from my grandmother's kitchen. And there really are spices in those. Below, the 2 wooden pieces right there, those are German cookie molds. And in this corner here, we have another set of refrigerator dishes. There is a tin, a tea tin. I got that on a trip to England. The little piece, cross-stitch hearts in the corner on the quilt stand, I cross-stitched that. And then the little teapot and teacup and saucer are Polish pottery. There's a photo of my son when he was in high school. Over in the corner, this little, can you see me pointing, that little silver dish or bowl, or sorry, cup, was my husband's when he was little. And behind that is another little tin from England. And on this side, that little teacup coffee pot set up on the top shelf is from a trip to Holland. And the little rabbits in the corner is another little cross stitch that I did. Then there's a vintage chopper and a vintage nut chopper, and then some vintage linens. And this little gem right there is one of the Russian stack dolls. I think there's 7 inside of her. And then if we go below, Let me back up here a little bit. We have a vintage coffee pot, lucite, I want to call that plastic. From, I think, I want to say the 50s. It could be earlier than that. And then there's a sifter, a flour sifter that was painted on the outside. An enamel tapioca canister. A vintage bowl. That stoneware bowl right there. The coffee grinder is from my father-in-law. And then a very, very old jar behind that. This cherry pitter was actually my stepmother-in-law's. When the kids were little, they had a big cherry tree, and we used to visit them in Colorado, and we actually used that. Yes, we did. We pitted cherries with that. Then this little horse and wagon came from her grandparents, so it is really, really old. The scale there with the wooden lemons is a reproduction. If I come, there's a Disney print that my daughter gave me. We have a step stool there from an antique store, the Little Red Schoolhouse up in Holland. This piece here did not come with any of the utensils, but I picked it up someplace in Europe at a flea market. And if we go behind this door, sorry about the wall, we have this piece there, and it is authentic enamelware, and I got that over in Europe as well. And I do have a strainer. I think it fell. There it is on the floor. So if we back up, or let's go this way. Sorry, you don't mean to. I probably am making you dizzy. This basket here on this trunk is filled with all sorts of Russian toys that I got in flea markets, and many of them, well, they've all been played with by my grandkids, and I've never put them back. Some are German, but they're all wooden, and they're all just as cute as they can be. So there is that. That's got great meaning. Inside this trunk here, I had bought this trunk at Pier 1, probably 35 years ago. And it houses some curtains from Germany and things like that. And then this bed, I mean, look at this bed. What is not to love about this bed? This bed was bought at a flea market in France, and the quilt on it is from the Eddie Bauer collection. Eddie Bauer had a home collection. I don't think that they've been out of business for quite a long time, but that is from there. The pillows I bought off of eBay, and that little set of Raggedy Ann and Andy. They're authentic Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls that my husband gave me when we met and we were in college. Then there is another rag doll, all handmade. And those pillows, again, were a find on eBay many, many years ago. The secretary desk here in the corner was a gift from my mother-in-law, my stepmother-in-law. And it's got a toy abacus down on the bottom, along with a couple very old spindles or wooden spools, and a little handmade house. The handmade house I got at a gift store, so it's not, I mean, it's old. I've had it for a long time, but it's not antique or vintage. Then on top, we have another rag doll. The mustache cup there is from my husband's mother's father. He used to use that. The funky little piece of pottery frog one of my kids made. I want to say my daughter It weighs a ton, but it's, you know, I mean, what are you gonna do? The two little orange pumpkins that you see, one of my granddaughters made those for me about 3-4 years ago. And what's in the frame is a part of a wedding invitation for my niece, my brother's child. That is our son when he was little. That's our son when he was married and they had our first grandbaby on Easter. And right there is another cross stitch that I did. Let me see if I can get just a little bit closer and you can see it. Very country. I was really, really loving that look. It's just warm and in my heart. And I cherish all of these handmade. This is if you were alive when geese and ducks were popular, then you have probably seen something similar to this. Another cross stitch that I did, and then one of my all-time favorite cross stitches is this sweet one up here of the dolls. I love that. And if we move over here, I have a vintage children's chair that I bought in France, and what is sitting on this is a handmade bear with real life clothes, and it's holding a free puppies little basket with 3 little puppies in it. And what I love about this is up in that upper left corner, there were 2 Milk-Bone dog biscuits, and one of our dogs many years ago got into that and ate them. So it really is a treasure. Then I have, because I am a weaver, I have a basket collection. No, I did not make these. Most of these baskets I bought in the Black Forest of Germany. And I had a friend that was stationed on Guam, and she used to hang things off of these bamboo hooks, these S-shaped hooks. And so she was able to get me some of those hooks, and that's what I'm hanging those on. If we go next to that, there is a cute little scarecrow, handmade scarecrow. There is a set of wooden apples, a friend of mine. We were in the military together, her husband and my husband, and we first met in Virginia, and then we were stationed again together in Georgia, and her husband, one year for Christmas, made those for me, so I absolutely love those. And then I've got a country welcome that used to hang by my front door when we lived in Maryland. And there is one of the baskets that I've woven. There is another cross stitch that I've done with geese. Up on top of this shelf, there is a collection of pottery houses that you put candles in, and they all light up. Really, really pretty, especially during the holidays. Then we've got a rooster candle holder that I got in Germany. We've got an antique spool, and we've got 2 baskets that I made years ago. So that is there. And then when I was in Virginia, I used to hang little dried flower bouquets off of this. I cross-stitched this here, herbs for sale, and I just love this. But that is, oh, one more thing. I have down here, this is not a cross stitch. This is a really, really beautiful painting that I got when I went to an art show with that same friend that gave me the apples when we were living in Virginia. This chair, I bought it at an antique store here in the States, and those 2 dolls there are handmade dolls that we got in, it was either St. Petersburg at a flea market or Moscow. I think it was Moscow. I think we paid like $9 a piece, and they were handmade by this little elderly lady. I mean, they're priceless to us. So this wagon, I think I passed this wagon. There is in Belgium, a Tongeren, Belgium. I think it's every other Sunday, or it may be once a month. I can't remember now. There's this huge, huge flea market. And I saw this wagon, and because I was collecting hearts at the time, I just fell in love with it. So in this wagon are just a collection of teddy bears and rabbits. And that teddy bear with the little red suit on, I got when I was living in Vacaville, California, and working at Brick's flower shop. She had that in there for sale. I fell in love, had to have it. So this is my room. And yeah, it's just a special place that just houses so many beautiful memories for me. So I hope you enjoyed this little, oh, I forgot to tell you about what's up on top. Sorry guys, what's up here? Okay, that loom with my last name, that is from Turkey. That was hand woven in Turkey. There is a blue enamel picture behind it, and that is from Holland. There is a biscuit tin that I got when we were in England, and then that box there was a handmade box. The back of it is totally open, and I took a trip to England with my mom. We were up in the Midlands, and went to a flea market. Had to have it. You should have seen me try to get that thing home. I took all the clothes out of my suitcase. If I came home with no clothes, that was fine, but I was coming home with that box. So the cat picture up there was my stepmother-in-law's, and so yeah, it found its way in here. And that is it, guys. This is my special little place, and kind of gives you an insight as to me. Very fun-loving, and toys all over my house, literally. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, just let me know, and have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.